Hello, everyone. I want to tell you about a project that started as a small what if and turned into something life-changing for a group of young people in our community. Last summer, I was just starting out as a leader for Outdoor Afro. Outdoor Afro is an organization dedicated to connecting Black people with nature. Around the same time, Telena from the Cape Perpetua Collaborative had reached out to Outdoor Afro's corporate division. They connected me with her. Telena mentioned during our meetings that she was developing a pilot program with a very specific, very important goal, bridging the gap between people of color and the Oregon coast. If you're familiar with Oregon's history, you know that our beautiful coastlines hasn't always been a home or even a welcoming space for everybody. For many in the Black and brown community, the coast can feel like a place that belongs to someone else. It lacks diversity, and for a lot of children in the cities, it feels a world away. When Telena approached me, I did not have a huge network yet, but I knew this mattered. So I reached out to two local powerhouses, Santori from the Congregation of Black Naturalists and William from All Nations Oregon FC. William's soccer program is incredible. It's a program full of talented high school and middle school athletes. When we pitched the idea of a coastal expedition to them, the excitement was immediate. For some of these kids, the Oregon Coast Aquarium was a dream they had not visited yet. And for most, the idea of a night away from home with their peers was the ultimate summer adventure. Our first stop was the Oregon Coast Aquarium in Newport. We didn't just walk through the exhibits. The staff went above and beyond to make sure the kids felt like VIPs. We started with a presentation that gave everyone a new perspective on the ocean, and then we went on a guided tour. If you've ever been around curious teenagers, you know the questions never stop. They wanted to know everything. We talked about how the giant Pacific octopus can squeeze into a hole the size of its beak, and how the sea otters have the densest fur in the world to stay warm in our freezing Pacific waters. They learned about the antifreeze proteins in the blood of cold water fish and how moon jellies navigate the currents without a brain or a heart. The icing on the cake was when the staff took us beyond the scenes into the feeding area. Watching the biologists prepare specialized diets for hundreds of species was a light bulb moment. Several of the kids immediately started asking, how can I get this job? How do I get this job? We had an honest conversation about the career path, that while the pay in marine biology might not be the highest, the impact and the connection to the world are huge. It opened the door to career possibilities he had literally never considered before that afternoon. After the aquarium, we headed to OMSI's Camp Gray. Many of these kiddos had never been camping. But if you've ever been to summer camp, you know that energy, the rush to claim a bunk bed, and the excitement of sharing a cabin with your friends. That was evident in these kids' faces when they arrived. Dinner was a little interesting experience. Many of these students come from immigrant households where the food is incredibly flavorful and specific. When they saw camp-style chili, you can imagine there was a few skeptical looks. But once they sat down to eat, the pots were cleared out. They asked for seconds and thirds. That meal became the fuel for what happened the rest of the night. Despite a long day, the kids found a sandy patch at the camp and set up a beach soccer match. It was one of the most beautiful sights of the trip. Before we had left Salem, many of the kids had expressed that they weren't the camping type or they didn't like being in the woods. But there, on the sand, they realized that they could bring their own spin to it, their own culture, which was evident in their love for soccer, into the natural world. They were free, they were loud, and they were joyful. As night fell, Santori from CBN suggested the kids get the whole authentic camping experience. S'mores. Camp staff brought some materials, marshmallows. We all gathered around the fire, and what started as a few kids turned into a whole group. Even though there was a 6:30 a.m. wake-up call the next day, the banter and laughter went on until midnight. They weren't just teammates anymore. They were becoming a family. The next morning, we were down in the tide pools. To the kids, it looked like a museum of sea creatures left behind by the tide. They saw sea stars like Patrick, sea anemones, or enemies as we called it, and crabs in their natural habitat, In a moment of pure youthful exuberance, one student found a massive strand of bull kelp and started using it as a jump rope. Other kids saw that and jumped in. Suddenly, we're all having a competition. Seeing the kiddos play so freely in a space that had historically felt off limits was incredibly moving. The final destination was Amanda's Grotto for a mile-long hike. As a leader for Outdoor Afro, I led the kiddos in a tradition of opening and closing circles. This put the kids in the spotlight, asking them to share their thoughts and reflections. While it was a challenge for some of them to be that vulnerable, they all rose to it. The hike ended at a beautiful suspension bridge and the grotto itself. But this wasn't just a nature walk. It was a history lesson. We sat in the quiet of the grotto and listened to a piece about the forced displacement of the native populations in the area. We talked about culturally sensitive issues, the fact that this land has a complex, sometimes painful history. The kids listened. They meditated. They asked deep questions. They realized that their own stories of identity were connected to the story of this land. So, why does a trip like this matter? Was this pilot program successful? In a nutshell, yes. The immediate result was amazing. These high schoolers took the camaraderie built on the coast back to the little town of Salem and won the Summer League soccer championship that we're in. About half of the high schoolers that came on this trip were on that team that won. The long-term impact is, however, even bigger. Before this trip, these kids described outdoor activities as foreign or for other people. Trying to organize a hike in the woods was very difficult. And trying to organize a camping trip was next to impossible. But this program changed that narrative. It exposed these kids to their own community on the coast and showed them that they have their place in the natural environment. To this day, there are kids who are still asking, hey, can we go back? And those who couldn't make it asking, when is it going to be my turn to go back? We took 15 young people to the edge of the ocean and showed them that they belong there, not just as visitors, but as future biologists, hikers, and stewards of the land.
You want to swim, so you got it. He said, don't want to do it. Let's don't play those games. Can I go in without shoes?
You can. Yeah, it's up to you. Yeah.
Good.
Woo! She's showing them more of the sea star.
Yeah,
is it cold? It's a little cold.
That one coming? She does this all day long. She's like, this is nothing.
It's making my toes numb. Good job. Honestly.